Hey guys, this is OddOneGaming. This is going to be another Dragonheir SilentGods video. In today's video, I want to talk about where is the best place for you to spend your stamina in the game, okay? So what I'm going to say is going to assume that you already have a few 90s or 70 pushing towards 90 heroes that kind of allows you to start increasing your roster and already get to the point where you're building heroes to be able to farm all of the dungeons when it comes to the domains, when it comes to the gear ones and the runes. So this is a question that I had quite a few people ask me, and I said, you know what, I already had an idea of like what are the best ones in my opinion, and then my clan leader Arsalan, which has been playing for quite a while. He's a pretty experienced player as well. I'm quite sure most of you have seen him at the top if you're playing on Founter Interplanar 2. But he made an announcement where he kind of suggested the same thing that I'm going to tell you, and that is what are going to be your priorities to farm. Okay, so I'm not going to be talking about the Goblin, okay? Again, Goblin is one of the first ones that you need to farm. You're gonna try and get yourself to the highest stage of the Goblin as you possibly can, so you can get the most amount of XP, so you can build more and more of your heroes. Then obviously you're gonna need to farm the domains as well, so you can start ascending your people to the next star level. But after you're past that, you might be like, okay, now I need to keep pushing my gear dungeons, and what should I focus first? Like, should I go in the Grave of Venom? Should I go in the Grave of Curse, Grave of Rot, or the other ones? Well, from my point of view, and what, like I said, Arsalan said as well, the number one priority is going to be the Grave of Venom. And honestly, one of the reasons is this is also one of the easiest ones to farm because of the fact that you require, it's not as intensive when it comes to specific buffs and debuffs that you need in your team. I have already made a video on how you can beat stage 7 with a free-to-play team, so you can start getting the materials to forge legendary ones. And that for that one, you just need a good tank, couple of healers, and then one DPS in the adventurer as Frost, or more DPS depending on what you need. And the reason why this one is so good is because the sets that it has are amazing. So we got the first one, which is the Imperial Executioner. Just straight up, let me move myself to this side, straight up gives you attack and crit rate, and also if you complete a 3-piece set, is going to give you damage. You're gonna ignore defense. This is obviously gonna be amazing for arena and for most content where your nuker or your DPS champion is gonna require attack percent and crit rate. The more defense you ignore, the more damage you're gonna be doing. Then if you move over to the next one, the Platinum Knight quality, this one gives you attack percent and enlightenment, and when you complete again a 3 set, the wearer skill ultimate skill is fully charged, against 30% damage bonus for 10 seconds. So you get that damage bonus before you do your ultimate, but then every other damage that you do is gonna get a bonus. The attack percent and enlightenment is gonna be useful for most DPS heroes that don't necessarily need to crit, but you need as much attack percent as you can get, and enlightenment helps derivative damage, may it be poison, burns, or what's it called? The Dauntless people have that as well when they do derivative lightning damage. So this one's going to be really helpful for them as well. And at the same time, even if you're not completing like this full set, getting enlightenment can also help you on other people, such as like, support heroes that get bonus from enlightenment. As an example, Hexandra's battle skill gets extra bonus from attack percent and enlightenment. So that's why this one's good. Then the next one, this one's arguably the best one when it comes to boss fights, and especially the Temporal Vortex, the Heart of the Gambler. It gives attack percent and attack speed, but what makes this set amazing is when the wearer deals damage, it has a 30% chance to deal 5% target's current HP as true damage. True damage is going to ignore defense, is going to ignore everything, and it's basically going to be crazy damage, and it's going to be up to 200% of your attack. So this one's definitely the best set when it comes to boss encounters. Keep that in mind. This one's my favorite one, especially for Temporal Vortex. And then we move over to the last one, which this one's again pretty amazing because it can be used as a full set, or even as like a filler set, so to speak. So rest of the trolls, it gives attack percent and skill haste. I did mention in previous videos, skill haste is the most important stat in this game because it basically lowers the cooldowns of your battle skill and your ultimate. So giving you skill haste and attack means your debuffers that you want to do some damage are gonna get that attack percent and are gonna get some skill haste as well. And if you complete a 3 set, it gives the wearer for healing every time they do their basic attack by 40% of their attack. So this one can be a massive set. So that's priority number 1. Now number 2 is actually not going to be the other graves, but it's going to be the Heretical Ruins. Where is it? It's over here, you know, the Phoenix itself. And the reason for that is, well, we're gonna be getting from here the positive runes. These ones are amazing extra stats that are going to be able to, you know, boost your heroes to the next level. And if you go over and look at, you know, at the champion, let's say we go over here, you can see exactly the stats that he can give you if you click on the filter. So for the main stats, it can give you attack, HP, defense, enlightenment, crit damage. Okay, so if you're going to need to push the damage of one of your DPS champions, getting crit damage is going to be a must. If they are a support or somebody that deals derivative damage, getting enlightenment again is gonna help. If it's a defense hero, well, getting some HP or defense again is gonna be amazing. And obviously attack for somebody that you want to have more attack than actual enlightenment or crit damage. And the amazing thing about this one is also the secondary stats. Okay, these ones, they can give you anything in the game. And again, one massive thing that you can get here is skill haste. So you're obviously going to try and get, for most people, you're going to try and get as much skill haste as you can. If not, you're going to aim for crit rate, crit damage, you know, depending on what you're using this for. So this one's a massive boost for our heroes, and that's why the you know, Heretical Ruins is priority number 2 in my opinion. Then priority number 3, which is actually, I think it's one of the hardest, if not the hardest one to farm, and that is the Ancient Battlefield. The Ancient Battlefield is kind of like, you know, the same as the Heretical Ruins, just this one's going to give you negative runes, okay? And if you go again and look in the filter, well, the negative runes can give you, again, certain stats. So main stats, again, attack, HP, defense, but it can give you accuracy, and it can give you resist. These are huge if you're trying to push somebody's accuracy higher, if you're trying to push somebody's resistance higher, this can be amazing. So let's say you build a debuffer with the sets from the Grave of Ammon that I said earlier, the Heart of the Gambler, where it can give you some skill haste, where if you do that, but you might want to get attack percent on them, you're maybe not going to have that much accuracy. You come and complete your build with the negative rune that gives you accuracy, and you're going to have a massive boost for that. And then again, when it comes to the secondary stats, the substats, you can get any of the stats in the game, which makes it, again, extremely important to farm, and that's why this one's priority number 2. Then when it goes to the next one, it's actually going to be, where is it? It's over here. It's going to be the Grave of Wrath, okay? And also the reasons why, like, they are in this order, you're gonna have more DPS champions in the game once you get into the end game than actual supports or tanks, okay? Most of the time you're only gonna have one tank, you're only gonna have 1 or 2 maximum supports, and then as many DPS as possible. That's another reason why the Grave of Venom is number 1. Now moving to, like I said, number 4, the Grave of Wrath. This one's again a little bit of a tricky one, but this one, as an example, compared to the Grave of Venom, it only has 2 special sets, where the Grave of Venom has 4, okay? So this one, it has the first one, that's Brotherhood Spirit, gives you accuracy and skill haste. Again, this one can be amazing to complete, to use on a debuffer that you want them to get skill haste, and you want them to have some accuracy in case they have the debuffs that you want to land. And then if you complete a 3 set, after the wearer unleashes their ultimate skill, all allies obtain 15% extra attack. So this can be massive again for most boss fights. If you're gonna have somebody that's a debuffer, or maybe even your tank. You know what? For example, I'm using Fruitbath. I might build Fruitbath in this set, so whenever he does his ultimate, he's gonna boost everybody's attack by 15%, and that's gonna be massive. He's gonna get the accuracy, he's gonna get a skill haste, and he's gonna help all of your team. And then the other one, this one's a little bit of a more, I don't know, niche, maybe more arena focused from my point of view. That's the Holy Hunter. It gives you accuracy and resistance, and it's the 3-piece effect is not that impressive. When the wearer deals damage to an enemy, there's a 20% chance of inflicting stun for 3 seconds. So, 20% chance to stun, it's not that high, it's not gonna help that much. So mostly this is an arena set. Maybe if you don't build for the 3 set and you're trying to build somebody with accuracy and resistance, then just the 2-piece set can be useful from here. So that's the Grave of Wrath. And now the last one is going to actually be the Grave of Curse. Okay, let's go over to the Grave of Curse. And like I said, the reason why this one's kind of like the last one from my point of view is because This one's mostly gonna specialize on your tanks or maybe some support, but mostly it's the tanks, because the first one gives you the ancestral protection, gives you defense and HP percent, okay, so a little bit of extra boost. But if you look at how low the values are, if you get another roll on a substat, you basically complete the set, so you know it's not that impressive. But this one can help the 3-piece effect. The wearer takes 15% of the damage that otherwise would be taken by all allies, while taking 15% less damage themselves. So this one can be good, like I said, for a tank that they're gonna be, you know, they're gonna be built really tanky. Maybe it's gonna be somebody like a Horus that you don't really care about that much to get what's it called, accuracy on them. So you're gonna go with this. They're gonna soak up most of the damage, and it's gonna make your squisher champions be able to survive more. So that's what this set comes in to be helpful. And then the Radiance of the Blue Oak, this one gives you enlightenment and HP percent. So there's this one's gonna be like, again, support tanks or some supports that maybe have their skill of enlightenment and HP percent. So as an example, certain heroes in the game do healing based off of their HP, okay, and some also have healing that scales off of enlightenment. The best example for that is Miss Reja, for example. Miss Reja heals on her battle skill. It's based off of her max HP and it's based off of enlightenment, so she could be, you know, this could benefit her. And then the ultimate heals the hero by 20% max HP after the wearer unleashes their ultimate skill. So again, this one I guess can help them. And honestly, the one hero that comes into mind when I see this one is Sephrys. If you know Sephrys, well, whenever she does her skills, if it's the ultimate or the battle skill, she always sacrifices her HP. So having this to boost her HP a little bit is gonna help. Otherwise, most of the time you're gonna want to have another support or another healer alongside her. But apart from that, again, HP and enlightenment is not that crazy stat, so that's why this one, you know, the Grave of Curse is the last one from my point of view. And yeah, I think this is gonna be it for the video today. I hope this helps you guys, you know, hope it gives you an idea of what to focus on, where to, you know, maybe it also gives you an idea of what to build people with, because you know, there's so many sets, and you might be thinking, oh, I want the attack one, no, I might want the accuracy one, or I want the one from the Grave of Curse. But now that you understand maybe a little bit from what I said who you're going to use those sets on, it might give you a better idea of how to build your people and also of what dungeons to farm. And especially one last thing that I want to add at the end, when it comes to these ones like the Grave of Curse and the Grave of Rot, I would not be farming this too crazy. Maybe just do the fights that it requires you to do. When it comes to like the journal, okay, over here the adventure, it might, you know, it says, I don't know, do 10 fights in the Grave of Rot or 10 fights in the Grave of Curse. Just do them for that mission, but then don't keep farming. My suggestion is, if you're gonna start farming these specific ones, always farm them when you can get legendary gear. Don't waste your stamina farming lower levels and getting epic stuff when you can just slowly push to stage 7 and start getting the legendary materials, because, well, you're just gonna be selling all of the rare stuff. As soon as you can get legendary, all the rare one goes. And this is again another reason why the Grave of Venom is so important, because early on, if you farm the Grave of Venom, and even though, you know, you don't get it's not the perfect set maybe that you get from this dungeon for all of your heroes, just being able to have the legendary gear that gives you the percentages that are really high, like as an example, HP defense percent gives you 60% boost. Even though you're not gonna, you know, have in the end game your tanks have this one, you're still gonna farm this as a priority, because it's gonna be able to boost all of your team. And then when you push over to the Grave of Rot or Grave of Curse, you're gonna start farming only once you get legendary gear. At least that's what I'm suggesting. Don't go crazy farming epic gear when you can farm legendary ones, okay? Because, yeah, you know how hard the stamina recovers, and we don't get that much of it. But anyway, this is gonna be it for the video today, guys. Again, I hope this was helpful for you, because my goal with my channel and my videos is to always help as many of you out there as I can. So if you do enjoy my content, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel to see when I upload next, and I'm gonna see you on the next one. Peace, love, take care, everyone. Bye, guys.